Yeah, Hot 97, Funk Flex 50. What's up, my brother? How are you?
We back in action, man.
How long since I seen? Well, I seen you,
yeah.
but up here.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Now,
yeah.
Are you and Floyd okay?
Yeah, I'm cool with him. Like, you know, like he makes decisions.
Look at Fifth's face.
It's almost like a
look at Fifth.
Floyd, 14-year-old millionaire. I got simple. My guidelines is real. My moral compass is set for the neighborhood, man. It's real simple. It's like it's things you do, things you don't do. Codes of conduct.
It's not what you say. You got to kind of have a good understanding of what sends Fifth to a certain place.
Right, or then it doesn't. I go. It doesn't make any sense to me, the whole situation. I go, wait, so like in any other case, look, if I didn't view him like a younger brother, I wouldn't be able to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
See, because in the environment, if I came in and I got you to invest, whether it was to help you or not, like if it was deciding to try and create the venture to prevent you from what's destined to happen when you don't, because the lifestyle's on you can't sustain that.
Got you.
It's not.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it'll just go on until you hit the brakes. Like.
So you and him communicate, talk. So you're in a good space.
Early on, yeah. I haven't spoken to him recently, you know, but I hope he's on top of his game, all the way on top of his game, because it actually is. It would be a better win to see Canelo win for Golden Boy than to see Floyd win.
Got you. Okay.
See, because Canelo win, there's we know what the next fight is.
Okay.
It's the rematch. If you fight right now, look at boxing. Like who would be the next opponent for Floyd? Crickets.
Look. He's a
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. There's nothing there. James Kirkland would possibly be that guy.
Would he beat him? What do you think?
Well, James a bump. Like I don't know if like he's one of those guys that can knock him out. Like can hit hard enough to knock a fighter out with no problem. Like the fights that they expected him to lose. That's how you move up in boxing, is winning fights that they didn't expect you to win.
What you feeling? What you feeling for this weekend? What are you feeling for Saturday with this fight?
I think it's gonna be a decent fight, man. You know, like I don't want to ever overestimate anyone. You know what I mean? So I look at him, and Floyd is the best fighter. You know what I'm saying? It's just we've seen the best fighters in their prime get older
or make a mistake. We're
We're
not sure.
Changes everything.
He may not, but it could happen.
Yeah, you could be almost.
I feel Floyd might pull this off. I feel like this one, but he definitely has to be careful on the next fight that he takes or where he's going with this.
I don't think a lot of people believe that Canelo could actually beat him. He's younger.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but he's definitely one of the candidates and the guys that they marketed to the point that it's the one that you would anticipate being the big one.
Fifth, I've been dying to ask you. Kendrick Lamar, the record drops.
Oh, yeah.
You hear it for the first time.
I'm listening.
Where were you?
Yeah.
When you heard it, what did you think?
The first I heard, before I could get a chance to really listen to it, I got the call.
Of course.
I got the call first. And I spoke to Top, because me and him got real good relationships. The guy who runs that whole, company. He's one of the people who likes to call when, look, he's my friend. Okay. You know how someone calls you and there's no real reasoning? Like, yo, I just saw this movie. Did you see it? Is it good? Like that type of thing. So it's like when he drops, I go, okay. When you listen to what he's saying,
mm-hmm.
on the record, he's saying, it's a breath of fresh air for me, because it's saying that there's no more kumbaya, my lord.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not sitting by the campfire being friends. Like, we're all just being friends.
Like this type of action.
You
liked it. Got it.
Competitive energy, that's necessary for hip-hop. That's what it is. Like, I think our culture is...
I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah, our culture is competitive. So it's like, if you don't have...
You don't like too much smiling and picture taking.
Yeah, I'd like it to be, well, yeah, we can smile, you take pictures, but then you know that the next presentation that the person's gearing up for is supposed to shake everything and kind of like, if yours ain't right, bye-bye. Mm. And it really works that way. Like, it's like, remember that process with Nas making his record? He said, yo, they're in the studio, but they don't want you to come yet because it's not finished.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to hear nothing until it's finished.
How did we get to Nas? You see where he took me?
In the early stages, Nas was ill. He was crazy.
But why you said the early stages? That sounds like a lead-in, man.
When we first came, I'm talking about how to rob. Look at this. Look, when I first had my first record that anyone took note of.
Do you realize every time me and you get together, we somehow get It's like the
back to that.
We get not even to Nas. I just want to acknowledge.
Look, I bring Nas in because at that in the very beginning, he took note. He said like this, look, he took me on the Nostradamus tour. It's the first tour I've been on.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like he could have took Nature. He could have took everybody else. He's like, nah, you took because you remind me.
I think the first time I saw, maybe the second time was with Nas Tunnel.
Yeah, and that's was like I liked Queensbridge. I always liked that energy.
How are you and Nas now? Have you guys spoken?
I ran into him one time.
And what happened? Did you guys speak?
In Soho House, yeah. I ran into him.
A good conversation?
Yeah, I took care of their bill.
Oh.
I'm a big nigga, Flex.
So how did that... Come on! How'd that come up? Come on.
You know that's what I do.
Okay, so you in good space, good energy.
Yeah. I mean, like, we got a chance to kick it for a second, and, a lot of it, I think it cleared it up for him. You know what I'm saying? Because for me...
Not for you, but for him.
Yeah, I got...
You were already where you were.
I kind of put it together after the fact, what was happening.
Okay.
Because, like, Stout will help him make a lot of the decisions. That's why I don't like Steve Stout.
Okay.
I still don't like him. Like,
why?
Because it's still, like, he got these ways with him that's like, I guess it's acceptable for business, right? But it's not acceptable for people that, like, a person that you actually interact with. Because I would say he's a guy that'll have you come to speak to him for confirmation that things are the way they are, and then can't find his way to answer the telephone, but then run his way to you as soon as the deal's already taking place.
Gotcha.
To try and get himself into the middle of the deal. It's exactly the sequence of how things went. He answered the phone. We met at Interscope. He's like, oh, I know. You don't have to play me music. I know what you can do. Meanwhile, 21 questions.
This is...
What up, gangster?
Now who's this?
This is Stout.
Stout, okay.
Wankster. All this is on the tape. Oh, you don't have to play it for me. I know what you could do. And then we go in and talk about what's what, and then can't get him on the phone no more. Next time I see him is we in the Mondrian. The deal's done. He going, don't sign to the white boy. Go with Dre. Yours is serious. So he can I'm out of the music business. I'm going to do this one last thing so it can hit, like Jimmy radars if he made the deal. He one of those guys that'll say he made the deal.
But in this business is a game. In his defense, the game is built on opportunity. Getting in there, making a buck, right?
Perception, look at this. Perception.
There's also this perception in the music business that, we can all touch this money, and if somebody doesn't come out on top, it's okay. It's this music money. We do what we do. We don't kill each other over it. We don't, that does linger over this.
Right. But I'm just saying to you, the way he, let's say this, they exercise that.
I wouldn't expect you and him to get along, though. I wouldn't expect you and him to.
Like, they look at it like the perception of things is really what it is.
I wouldn't expect you and him to click, though.
It's not my type.
I think what Steve Stout does is, like with a Nas, who has been around for a couple years, done a couple deals and everything else, and was kind of at a little bit of a standstill, came in with fresh eyes and looked on Nas's career and says, you know what, I think you could do A, B, and C, and not just prolong your career, but there's some money over here for you to get. And I think, you're a little bit more self-made, know your direction, know where you want to be.
Just paying enough attention to what's going on. But if you ask Nas, you should ask Nas too, because when you see him.
Look,
what? A lot of the wrong turns are the turns that Jay made. The Stout came in later to aid him in other things.
And, well, when you say wrong turns, meaning Jay made the right turns now with Steve?
Right. I'm saying to you that he made decisions that, like with Rockaware, he did that. Willie Esco was something that I don't even think that was Nas's company. He just got they gave him something to do.
Got you.
Be in front of it, like on the poster, shit like that. So now, when one is in the picture and the other one actually owns the company, the other one is, you feel what I'm saying? Like it went like that consistently, with him being the advisor at those points, and then he just rose with that. So now he rode with Jay, 'cause Jay made the right decision.
But you and Nas in a better place now.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I would.
I'm not even upset with him. I look at it like, hey, we spilled milk. We ain't upset about it. It's just spilled milk on the floor. That's all.
Kendrick, because you got me off of that.
Yeah. Kendrick,
Kendrick.
I looked
he
at
said,
it.
King of New York.
Yeah.
Where was your take on that?
That was the line necessary to make everybody stop. Look at all the response. Listen, look at all the responses. It all was a response to King of New York, not to them actually saying their names.
Did you like the Joel? I know you mean you're lyrical. You like to listen to stuff. Joel Ortiz, listen to that response.
Yeah, I heard it. Look, I'm gonna tell you what I would have did. I would have let everybody's response play and been in the studio and go like this.
It wasn't what you wanted. It wasn't.
No, I'm just saying to you because they're not the guy that New York City was expecting to respond in behalf of New York City.
Who was they expecting to respond?
Me or maybe Jay. That's
Did you contemplate responding?
No, I just because I already had wind of what he was doing. I knew. Look, How to Rob flex.
You've seen this movie before.
Yeah, it's How to Rob.
You created this movie.
Yeah, like when I do, I said, I know what you're doing. Now look, this is what you got to do because if you listen to the record, he's saying he worked with the guys that he actually mentioning. He's saying that when I talked to him, he said, look, the records that I just made are better than the last records I had. What I'm saying on the record is if they don't get better, they ain't gonna make it past my next album. That's what I was trying to say. And then I go, well, that's what we all should be saying. That's how the culture is thriving. That's how we get better, how it moves.
He kind of did what you do, but it's now room for it to still be friendly.
And look, ain't nobody feeling like, did you feel like someone was gonna die? See, when I do it, it gets a little different.
No, I didn't feel like that.
Something's gonna happen.
I'm concerned about Meek Mill and the Cassidy. I feel like it might be getting a little.
They've been running.
It's a little personal, a little far, and you know, I hope that could cease down a little bit. I think you know, even Meek and Kendrick. You know, I think it's time to give this a breather and slow it up. And
I like it.
I think it.
I like it.
I figured you would.
It brings competitive energy. Like, look, put it like this: they're both gonna be better artists because of it.
A lot of people are touring together. A lot of people getting money together.
I like that.
And
That's cool.
I think that this is bringing a little bit of a damper on the artist continuing to tour, especially with the money being a little slimmer.
Let me say this. Look, I tell you, one of my favorite MCs of all time is KRS-One. I've made that clear. Boogie Down Productions all the time. That Criminal Minded album was like
mean
soundtrack to life. The competitive energy on the bridge is over. That's hip hop.
That was a clear. There's going to be a winner and loser.
Yeah.
There was no room
Boogie
for
Down
it to
Productions,
be.
MC Shan, Juice Crew, Energy. That was there. That's a part of the culture. It's always been there. Competitive. It could look. There's a possibility it could turn into something negative, but there's a stronger possibility that it stays in the art.
Fifth.
Look at how many times we had negative outcomes. How many times did it go away?
I think though, and I'm gonna use you as example because that's the example that's fresh in everyone's mind. At the time, it was going on, and I was playing them records.
Right.
If I would have known where the climate was really gonna end,
right,
I'd have did it different.
Look,
because at the time it felt like, you know, it's just, you know, movement on time. There'll be the next album. There'll be the next thing, or there'll be the next artist, or all the artists will come to. I mean, there was some artists that didn't come back from going back and forth with you, and I think too, there's some artists, you know, that did, or it did erode. It did erode the game and the New York look at it. It did a little bit,
look.
And I would have did it differently. Me and you never had this conversation.
Let me tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you why it felt like that. Because I heard Ebro say the same thing in the morning. He think I won't be listening. Right? I heard him say that and said New York never recovered from when 50 was.
I mean, it did. It wasn't not a recovery. That wasn't what happened. I just mean it played out differently for different players, and
meaning if he wasn't good enough, he was gonna get moved out of the slot.
But here's the other thing, though, Fifth. Remember, people were able to coexist even if you wasn't the most lyrical or able to survive, and you came up in a different competitive
the energy
place.
Was different, yeah. But look at this. Look, if you say when the guy comes with the kind of record, he didn't say anything that mirrors like what happened, what you say in the environment right before somebody get hit. You feel what I'm saying to you? He said, like when they used from Biggie, the difference between Kane being the king and Biggie was the difference between put a quarter in you because you played yourself and damn, niggas want to stick me for my paper. Really, what's going on? It's because you just got on, you got it, and they down the block, and they was your equal at one point, and they not your equal no more.
I agree.
So they're looking, going, let me see that. What do you have? That? How much that watch cost? It changes everything. I can get the car I want and have some work after this. So it does. He's really putting down the real energy of what's the climate of what's going on in Brooklyn. So when they use terminologies and they use energy from the actual environment, you go, oh, so this is why you go to the extreme of checking to see if this guy is who he say he is on the actual record. Because if you're saying that and he mean it, you gotta. I want to go first. When you go last, you hit Flex. You gotta get past that, recover. Everything else is there. I've been through the process, so I want to go first. So I go see if this is. I want to see if this is what you said it was, and then once it's clear that it's not, then I go. All right, then it's not. You can make a decision. You don't have to.
Let's say you had 10 run-ins.
Right.
Let's say give me 10. I think 7 were warranted, and I think the 3 you might have been being a bully. That's me.
Now
that's what I feel.
That's the assessment.
I get it. I've been there. I'm a bully.
Okay.
I know what you did.
When you say in New York,
because I do it too sometimes.
Let's look at this. New York City, the music business is here. Music business here in L.A. All them great artists coming out of the South, Atlanta, all of that, they got to get on a plane. Mm-hmm. They come to New York to figure out what's going on in their life. They're coming out of the Bronx, right? So if it's coming from here, it's going down south and it comes back. So now, if the major companies, the people that put the finances together to support these projects are in New York and Los Angeles, what happens is, this is why it becomes a strong crew of artists that coming out of New York that's popping, strong crew of LA artists, and then it starts to get into those markets. So now look, if you say, when it happens for me, everybody, they scared straight. They was in the scared straight program. They don't want to do no business with me. Then, as soon as I crack without them, and I'm saying, stay away from him. Stay away from him. They go, I'm from New York, got 100 guns, 100 clips, and it goes straight to that. And that's what brought the Jadakiss, and what brought my Fat Joe issues later. It turned into those issues.
We had to support that record. You know.
No, I know. And I'm like this.
And they had to support they dude. It was they dude.
Yeah,
they had to support they dude.
No, what I'm telling you is that turned into New York, and 50 Cent is something else. At that point, after they become 100 guns, 100 clips, and I'm from New York.
In all fairness, for artists in New York, Fifth, I think there was a blueprint that you laid down when you came through that some artists didn't follow. Not just the click game, the tape game, the internet game, and how you was getting your music heard. Now, I do believe for artists in New York and artists who have come, some that have come after you, have not, the days of putting out a record once a month are through. The days of, I put my song out and I put my video out in 3 weeks are through.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to say what is affecting the game most right now is an Action Bronson, a Troy Ave, I mean, even Amigo. They're gonna pop these records every 2 days. They don't wait on a label. They get the records out. Their label is the internet and how are people perceiving my music, and do I need to drop another song?
Right.
Not speaking to the
if you capture an audience, no matter how big or how small that audience is, if you can occupy them, because it's taking long. Look how long it's taking a record company to prepare to launch the actual records. It's like if you put something there, the issue is this: the mix show DJ, once you get to a certain level of celebrity, because it's connected to your actual music, there has to be a plan connected to it, or you create confusion. Because I send the record and they hear it and they go, oh, this is power. I like this. You heard the new joint? And then the next one comes out and cuts that one off.
Correct.
Because they start playing that one.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So they have to be prepared to get the record up.
The mix show has changed. You know, it New York, Jersey, Connecticut, and sometimes we don't always give the behind the scenes of, but at 2000, 98, 2000, a mix show DJ in any state was able to play any song he wanted to play.
Yeah.
And now it is, there's someone who decides that room or that list before it really gets to the guy who's throwing it on.
Right.
And that person who decides rarely has 2 records from an artist on that list. It's usually one replaces the other. And I think you're absolutely right. look, I will say it sometimes to there's stations in New York and there's here, and we've haven't always grabbed the stuff that has come from the streets and gotten it on the radio
Right.
in a timely fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So I could speak for that and say that does exist, and it's a different pool now. The internet, and you have thisis50.com. You see it. The internet has produced an outlet.
Yeah.
But it's an outlet that can be tainted, and it's an outlet that can be made to perceive that someone's hot when they're not hot.
Right.
Sometimes. And
Sometimes.
that just jamming us up.
And it creates a clear indication when you have something that's organic also. Because it's like, my example would be the Bury Me a G joint, the KK guy. Mm-hmm. Like, he had freestyles, things that he put out in the past that people liked them, or the comments were mixed comments. Like, because he'll get the negative energy because they'll look and say, oh, he with him, so he already made it. When I'm not making the mistakes I made in the past. Like, he's working for everything that he actually is getting. So it's like,
if you've backtracked a little bit too, and you've been a man in a lot of situations, and I've seen you with the Fat Joe situation,
yeah,
stuff that even didn't come to the forefront. I saw you moving a lot of people that you did spar with, and bring it full circle. And which a lot of people haven't, but you do. Which I commend you for. You didn't have to.
A lot of times I don't think you can actually. If you genuinely don't respect the person, I don't think you could talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it where it's at.